Chairman, would you like to call the meeting to order?
Call the meeting to order and call the roll and see if we got a quorum.
Alderman Conway, Alderman Ortman,
Present.
Alderman Moore,
Here.
Alderman French, Alderman Carter, Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Murphy,
Here.
Alderman Coder,
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer, Chairman Bosley,
Present.
President Reed.
Here.
We have 6 present and we have a quorum.
All right, well, we got, what's first is Board Bill 132. I'm taking them in order. Unless there's somebody here that has an important meeting someplace that they need to be at, and we'll take them first. But I have not heard that, so we'll take Board Bill 132.
Mr. Chairman, I hope I don't look like Conway, but I've been asked to kind of handle this. But John is here to explain it, so, because Alderman Conway couldn't make it. So if we could turn it over to John Kohler. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do have a handout associated with this project. Thanks, Jamie. Morning. On behalf of Alderman Conway, Alderwoman Megan Green, and Alderman Joe Vollmer, the city submitted a federally funded application for a transportation alternative program project to essentially build public infrastructure all around the perimeter of Tower Grove Park. The project primarily is associated with pedestrian access from all the neighborhoods around the park to improve intersection crossings with enhanced markings, upgrades for Americans with Disabilities Act requirements. We've got coordination with Metro to upgrade all of their transit bus stations or work with them with possibly optimizing the location of the bus stops. We've got some additional push buttons with upgrades for countdowns at the signals. This is a $1 million federal project with match provided by the 3 aldermen, 50% Conway, and the balance provided by Vollmer and Alderwoman Green. They're providing $236,000 of their local 1/2 cent ward capital to support the federal $1 million ask. On the map that I've handed out here, it shows some of the locations of the intersections around the perimeter. The orange circles are the traffic signal locations where we're doing the push buttons and enhanced crosswalks. And there's some other features highlighted in the legend of where we're putting some of the enhanced crosswalks and high visibility crosswalks. With that, I'd like to open it up for any questions that you might have.
Well, did Alderman Conway ask you to handle this one?
Yes, they initially came to the Board of Public Service with the project to provide better access for the neighborhoods into Tower Grove.
Yeah, but usually when an alderman has something like this, he will give you a written thing or, I'm supporting it,
Sure.
ain't in my ward, but if
So-
he says, but if he asks you to support it, I'm certainly supporting it.
Yep.
The alderman.
Mr. Chairman, Conway, or they've actually asked me to do it, to handle his bills, because he couldn't make it today. And John is explaining it, because he knows much more. The only thing I knew, it was $1 million grant. So, and I think it's always good to take free money.
And as part of the support, all 3 aldermen have provided a financial commitment letter, and that went into the actual application itself.
I don't have a problem with it, it's not in my ward, that kind of money should be up in the 3rd ward though. It really should, because we need more. Well, are there any questions on Board Bill 132? If there are any questions on Board Bill 132, I'll entertain
So
a
moved.
motion.
Second?
Okay.
Shall I call the roll?
Call the roll.
Alderman Ortman,
Aye.
Alderman Moore,
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Coder,
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
Chairman Bosley.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes and 0 noes.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
We got Board Bill 147.
Okay, and board, the next two bills are also Alderman Conway's, and they're both honorary, designated for honorary signs for streets, names in his ward. So 147 is supposed to be Cleveland Avenue and to be named Barbara Beck Boulevard.
It's in Conway's ward, and he asked you to support it, didn't he? I have no problem with it. Are there any questions on Board Bill 147? If not, I'll introduce you. Alderman from the floor.
They're paying what Alderman Boyd asked for, the $300.
They'll be paid before they can be put up. We can pass as many as you want, but they won't go up until someone pays for it.
What about the petition?
I can't answer that.
Okay. That's part of the process. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Was there a question about not having a petition, or is there
Yes,
a
sir.
motion to table it because of lack of a petition?
No, I wouldn't want to table it.
Okay.
I just want.
Board Bill 147 is before us now. It's been moved, and who seconded it?
Well,
Huh?
We don't have a motion quite yet.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Pass Board Bill 147, what it do pass.
Second from Alderman Coder.
Okay. call
Previous
roll.
roll,
Call for
Request
previous
the
roll.
Previous roll. Okay. 148.
Okay. 148 is gonna be the 4900 block of Botanical, and the designated sign would be George and Sandy Grubek Lane. And it's another, sign, street designation, honorary sign.
Are there any questions on Board Bill 148? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Previous roll.
Request for the previous roll, 148 is out. Okay, we got 166 here.
Actually, this is my bill. So, this is Board Bill 166, and I've got some maps. And they're just simple little maps. I didn't want to waste a lot of trees or anything, if you want to pass them around. I kind of put a little highlight there where this is to legislation to block off Mount Pleasant at Broadway. You can just set them there. And actually what, I've had a discussion with people that live over there. It's a real short block, and this is an area that's divided. It's the Mount Pleasant neighborhood, and it's divided by 55. So it's an area on the east side of 55 that's kind of cut off from the rest of the neighborhood on the west side of 55. But what kind of really kicked this off is there was a homicide about 2 months ago right there at Mount Pleasant and Broadway. And the problem that we have, if you can see, 55 is right here, and people like to come in there and sit and do their drug deals, and then they jump on the highway and take off. So I think this is really going to stop some of the traffic, and the next legislation is in the same neighborhood, same part, and I'll explain that when we get to that. But I do have a petition signed from actually, I think, all the people on Mount Pleasant, and then a lot more down Oregon, because it'll affect Oregon also. But everyone is happy to see this kind of, some of the cut-through traffic stopping, and I don't think the drug dealers are going to want to get caught up someplace that they can't get out of. So that's pretty much what this one is.
Are there any questions on Board Bill 166 from members of the committee? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Previous roll.
Request for a previous roll, 166 is out. 167.
You can't quite see it on this map, but we didn't quite catch Nebraska and Itasca. I kind of wanted that, but excuse me, sorry.
You probably won the lottery.
I would hope. But this is actually Itasca and Nebraska that's in the same neighborhood, and actually what they would do, and I think blocking off Mount Pleasant is gonna resolve some of this, but they come around and they cut through Nebraska, that's kind of like an alley along the highway, and then it turns into residential again, and there's a two-way stop sign. We stop at Itasca, but there's no stop sign at Nebraska. And I'm really hoping, that the stop sign will at least slow down some of these guys. I think responsible drivers will stop, but some of these non-behavior people that don't stop at anything, at least maybe they may slow down, before there's a real, bad accident there. Because they fly down Nebraska to hit Delore, and Delore is to cut through over the highway to the other part of the neighborhood. So I would appreciate your support on this four-way stop sign.
Okay. Are the people in the neighborhood of Nebraska, are they aware of this?
Yes.
Okay, I have no problem with your warrant. Are there any questions on Board Bill 167, Alderman from the
Yes,
floor?
sir. Is this street regulated by MoDOT?
No.
Okay.
No, this is the city.
Oh, no, 'cause
Nebraska's a city. This is all, the only one that MoDOT would have anything to do with me and Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, is Broadway.
MoDOT has a way of disrespecting my leadership by, I passed a stop sign and it hasn't been put up yet because MoDOT don't want it. So I think I know more better than MoDOT to put a stop sign in my community. MoDOT don't visit my community as much, so I wanna make sure that it's not MoDOT, cause you won't get a stop sign.
Well, thank God it's the residents that want this, so.
Well, my resident wanted it too, but MoDOT said no.
They didn't come to this committee.
Yeah, it did.
Did we invite MoDOT to come here and testify?
I didn't know they were going to stop the stop sign. They prevented the stop sign from being put up. We passed it out, went to the Board of Aldermen and passed it as an ordinance, and then it was never placed. And then I've come to find out from, Walterman that MoDOT didn't want a stop sign.
Did MoDOT send something in writing?
Nope. They just said
Well,
that.
you should have requested that they send it in writing.
Remember
here,
that
'cause after all,
incident?
you're
Page-
the
You
alderman of the
requested
board.
a response
Page
in
and
writing.
Marcus, we passed that all the way out to put that stop sign there, and then I asked why the stop sign hadn't been placed, and they told me that, MoDOT didn't want a stop
Did
sign.
they do it in writing?
Nope.
Oh, you should have requested it in writing, because nobody can override you in your ward except the president of the
Well, they
United
was acting like
States.
the president. Can you check into that for me?
I can request something in writing. for response.
Well, you can request it in the form of a resolution to this committee, and everybody involved in it, we can invite them here to see why they would override the alderman, because I think you know more about what's going on in the Fourth Ward than
I
anybody
most
else.
certainly do.
We'll do a resolution and we'll invite them in,
Okay.
all right? Are there any other questions on Board Bill 167, unless you want to hold it, Sam?
No,
No?
I don't wanna hold it.
I didn't hear.
He doesn't want to hold it.
Oh, okay.
Is there a
Okay,
motion then?
okay.
I move that we pass,
167 is up, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we pass Board Bill 167 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
Previous rule, 167 is out.
All right,
What we got next?
162. Jamie?
162?
162.
That's me, what in the world is
Are
this?
you on?
This is you.
I need to.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Oh, get
I think this is involving an upgrade to lights. I think Jamie's here to speak to
Oh, well, he can talk about it, because they didn't tell me nothing about it. Put my name on it, but didn't tell me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. My name is Jamie Wilson with the Traffic Division. The Board Bill 162 is related to our LED streetlights in the city. As many of you know, we have over 60,000 streetlights in the city. Our previous technology was high-pressure sodium, which is that yellow hue that you see. Those are the older technology. If you're familiar with LEDs or light-emitting diode technology, that's the newer, whiter light that you see versus the yellow. The benefit you get from this technology is you get the same light output, but for lower power consumption. So it's environmentally less of a power demand, and of course, you're paying less on your bills because of lower power usage. Right now, or when that technology first came out, it was so expensive, it was like buying a flat panel TV, nobody could afford them, but the technology was out there. Now, the costs have come way down, and now it's part of our normal operation to put these out there, and we do that in 3 different ways right now. When fixtures are broken, the high-pressure sodium fixtures get broken, we replace them with LED fixtures, or as many of you have already taken part in, there's aldermanic projects where we go in and replace some of your fixtures with your ward capital funds. And the third method is we look for loans or grants that we can do this under. And that's what this board bill right now is in front of you, is a board bill that authorizes us to enter into a loan agreement with the Department of Economic Development, Department of Energy. They have a program where you put in the lights and you hand over your costs to them. They reimburse you and make you whole for it. And then you start paying that loan off over a period of 7.5 years, only in the amount of your savings incurred. So we had a high bill using the old technology. We have a lower bill with the new technology. We pay them on a semi-annual basis the difference between those 2 bills.
Who is we? You're talking
The
about
city
we
of
have a
St.
high
Louis.
bill, we have a low bill. Who is we?
The city of St. Louis.
And the city's been paying this bill.
So we pay our bills right now. Our bills are gonna go down when we put in this new technology. We're gonna pay back the guys that made us whole for replacing them all in the difference of those 2 bills, the higher versus the lower. And it will take us 7.5 years to pay off 5,000 streetlights that we're putting in based on our savings. So about $156,000 a year is our savings. That's gonna be our payment per year to the energy department to pay it off, and we'll be done in 7.5 years. This board bill here is for a greater amount. It's for 12 million. The first chunk that first bite we want to take off is 1 million. That'll replace 5,000 streetlights. That's what we think we can reasonably do in 1 year. Instead of coming back to you guys every year for this type of conversation, we capped it out at 12 million, and that's the cost it would take to replace all the streetlights in the city of St. Louis. So our first year, we're gonna go for 5,000 streetlights and 1 million, and then in subsequent years, we're gonna come to you with the goal of completing the entire city of St. Louis conversion to LED technology. So this is our first attempt, and again, it'll be paying back only on the savings that we incurred.
All of them from the night.
Okay, so this is the savings and the difference from Ameren,
Yes,
and then, but we're actually making the payment,
to the Department of Energy.
okay? But
Yes.
it's, we actually, the city pays Ameren, you know, a bill now for all the streetlights that are
Right.
on. So it'll be the difference to Ameren, and then the payment will be in for the loan.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, and we have, as a reality check, I mean, I should take a step back. We're replacing high-pressure sodium. These are 250-watt fixtures. We're replacing with a 91-watt LED fixture. So higher power. So, but even that said, we reality tested on some ones that we've already done. We pulled our bill for a substation that used to have this old technology, and now it has completely 100% the new technology, and we saw a 65% reduction in cost. So it verifies everything that, I mean, it's straight math, but we still pull the bill just for a reality check.
And it
on
lasts longer.
And it lasts longer, yes.
Yes.
So the city won't see a benefit, say, for about 7 years?
Right, it'll be
Is what we're
our
saying.
same cost.
Right, and then
then-
after 7, the
right.
city will actually reap the
Yes.
benefit of that lower cost.
Correct.
And I realize, what is the difference between the longevity of an LED light and the ones we have now?
The LED ones right now, those are about a 15-year lifespan. I would say that HPS are about 10-year lifespan.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderman from the fourth.
I just put in $8,000 more for LED lights, and at the beginning of the year with the Ward Capital Fund, I put in a lot of money for LED lights to do 12 streets. Will I get my money back? I mean, how is this working? What?
See, and I'll go back. So we had those 3 ways. We do them ourselves when ones are broken and we have to go out and fix them, or projects like you just mentioned. You can continue to do that, and that will happen a lot quicker than this loan program would. Or you could sit on that and wait, and we'll eventually get to those streets. So we're starting at the higher. I guess my point is we're starting at the highest class, functional class of roadway, where the most traffic is, and we're going to work our way back down and which would be the residential streets, the lower volume section. So you can
with
wait.
With this $12 million, are you still taking money from ward capital funds?
We can, if you want to expedite your streets getting done, that's what I would recommend, or you would have to wait for, I don't know, maybe 5 years before we get down to the lowest class of roadway that carries volumes. So you can continue to do that to guarantee it's done in a certain time, or you can wait for the queue of when we eventually get to the residential streets as part of this program.
And if I wait, I don't pay.
Correct. Correct, out of your word capital, you are correct.
So if you don't wait, you get punished with the waiting list.
No, there's no punishment. It's just, again, I'll preface it by saying, we're gonna start at the ones that carry 50,000 cars a day, down to the ones that, local streets, the residential streets are like 3,000 cars a day, so
What about
it'll
trouble?
happen, it just won't happen in the
Have
first
you
couple of years.
considered what the problem with trouble, where we need to have them where high crime is, for more visibility for the cameras that we're putting out? Is that taken into
That
consideration?
is taken, and that is that is one of the benefits to this white light that's in. It's a lot more, on a video surveillance, it's a lot easier to pick out different colors versus that yellow, which kind of flushes all the color out. So that will be taken into consideration, yeah, we should.
And not about just the traffic moving.
Right, I guess our first pass from a traffic perspective would be to hit the ones that have more vehicles flowing through it, but we're definitely open to different
So how would I fit
priorities.
in, since I'm a high crime area, how would I fit in? Will I be able to jump in between the motion, the movement of traffic and put mine in and say, well, the fourth ward got a lot of crime, so we should put them in number 3, be the third one or whatever?
That would be something, so this first pass, these are already set, because we already applied for this loan and we were awarded it for the arterials. So the next time we come through and apply for another grant, we would have to sit down with you and figure out where we fall in those priorities for exactly what you said.
Thank you.
But this by no means taking money, you don't just go into my
No,
pot of ward capital and just take out what you want based on the streetlights, right?
correct, we do not go in and do that.
So if I'm not participating in this part of the program, the $12 million, who paid that back? The city paid, that's the burden of the city?
Yes,
And we won't be boggled into this by any means. We won't be bundled in to pay any money back later on to say, well, the city has a burden of $12 million, we're gonna take $50,000 a year from each ward for their ward capital fund to help pay this fund back.
correct, that's not how this is written.
How does that guarantee that that won't happen? How does this guarantee that that won't happen? That later on you come back and say, we need some additional money, so we're gonna tap your ward capital fund in order to pay this bill back.
I don't believe that's how the agreement is written as it is. I know the comptroller blessed this loan agreement.
I mean, I don't have a guarantee here. We're getting $12 million that we're borrowing, and I don't know how the city gonna pay that back, where they get that money from to pay this back. And then if we get in some trouble, they gonna look at the wards to pay this back. I wanna know how I guarantee that you won't pinch on the little small amount of ward capital fund that I already have.
Yeah, it just specifies a capital improvement fund for the city, so I don't have an answer for that, I'm sorry. I can't speak for the comptroller.
If I could, if you look at point 14, page 3, Alderman, the money is getting paid back with the energy savings that we're already shelling out as the city. So the city's paying its power bill on existing Cobra Head streetlights that are wildly inefficient. If we upgrade them to LEDs, there's a 67% cost savings on the energy bills. That money gets put into a separate account and used to pay back.
Will that pay the
loans.
money back on time, the $12 million loan?
Yeah, that's how this document is written. And that's
So
why he's not taking the 12
Right,
all
it's
at
not.
once. He's not gonna draw down 12 million, he's gonna draw down 1 million,
I
all 1
understand your
million
question
from the
now.
feds,
Yeah.
then pay it back.
Right, no, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. The 12 million, this is not, actually, we're not taking this out for 12 million. The first chunk is 1 million, it will be paid off with the savings from our bills. So it's nothing new out of pocket, it's what we're paying before. It'll pay itself off in 7.5 years with no impact to you.
Jack, you read pretty much, where is that clause that protect us from having our ward capital fund taken?
Page 3.
Because I don't want to contribute a dime of my ward capital fund. I don't have nothing but a dime.
It says the borrower, meaning the city, shall establish and maintain on its books an energy conservation loan account That's where that would be the
What
account.
paragraph do you read?
He's reading-
14, and the borrower shall annually budget an amount sufficient to meet the repayment obligation imposed by this agreement until such time as the loan has been fully repaid. That such budget amount shall be solely from energy savings or avoided costs resulting from the project. So you have to use money. The last sentence explains that you have to, last line explains that you have to use money from the energy savings to pay back the loan.
And this is
This is the agreement, this is an addendum to the board bill that will be signed by the city. I don't know who exactly from the city, but somebody.
I mean, I like the part about the LED lights, but I don't want any money to be, later on, they come back and say we didn't have enough and then put in enough.
No, I hear you.
And then start tapping into the water capital fund. I need something.
Alderman,
that-
they can't do that. I mean, we're
They
the
can do
ones
what
that
they wanna do.
that.
They've been, they took a lot of money from our community, especially with my, housing corporation, the HDC and all that. So they do what they wanna do. We sign off on this and then later on they come back and say, oh, it didn't work that way, so we need to tap into your resources. And I don't have any resources as it is to support my community.
And if part of my answer to that is, I should end this with saying that as part of this process, I know a lot of times you guys see stuff and then you don't get to see eventually what ends up getting built. For example, what we're gonna do as part of this is track everything that we're putting in, down to all these streetlights are hooked to substations. The substations get bills. We're gonna be tracking what our bills are before and after and where we've replaced all these lights. Our master plan, like I said, is to complete the whole city, so we gotta keep track of what we're doing anyway. So we're gonna, each program that we come in, this first pilot one and all subsequent ones, we're gonna be keeping track of where we're at and what the savings are for documentation for the city's purposes, for you all to be able to report to you as far as our progress and what the savings we incurred are.
Right, it sounds like an experiment to me.
Now, we use the same loan for all of our traffic signals in the past, the same loan. And we've also used it for different city facilities as well.
Well, my water be last anyway, so that's all I have.
Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, I'll entertain.
So moved.
Second. Previous roll.
Previous roll.
Objection.
Question
Previous roll.
previous rule, 162 is up.
You know we don't have enough people here for tomorrow.
That's all we got.
President.
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's it.
We
That's
did
it.
132 earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
good job.
Thank you for coming.